upskilling expenses and reducing debt servicing costs, resulting in reduced borrowing. Reduced borrowing will free up government's money so that it can spend more on improving social services like health, education, fixing roads, and providing better water supply. This, coupled with banks offering low interest rates, will result in a financially healthy environment for investment, production, and job creation.
We are preparing for that new environment, preparing to fast-track that transformation. A number of significant new projects are scheduled to come on stream in the course of this year.
The path of recovery will include the following positive pursuits: financing and build-out of a new LNG facility resulting in cheaper electricity. Positive signs in the aluminium industry, at least one plant may reopen and new investments are being pursued. Conclusion of the casino legislation resulting in increased revenue. The Harmony Cove project involving several billion US dollars of new investment. The new Falmouth port is on schedule and will begin receiving megaships early next year. Fast tracking of developmental projects, business expansion and investment applications. Economic project agreements with China and an investment mission to the Gulf states all show great promise.
The way forward is exciting. It will not be without its challenges. But if we make this fundamental shift in how we conduct our business, we will meet those challenges and we will be victorious.
Jamaica, this is our task. This is our challenge. This is our hope. This is a new beginning.
In 2005, Professor the Honorable Rex Nettleford visited the JIS studios for a special discussion on the contribution of the national heroes, how far the country has come since independence, and the journey forward. As we continue to celebrate the life of Professor Nettleford, Jamaica Magazine now presents highlights of that discussion with Ian Boyne.
The assessment of the work of our national heroes still continues. And there are some cynics among us who wonder, for example, what did Manley and Buster, the persons largely responsible for modern Jamaica, what did they really accomplish? I think that at this time of national stress, there is a tendency to undervalue what has been done in the political project.
Yes, well, of course, this is a sort of typical blasé sophistication that we find among us, you know, the wrong and strong attitude, and the, well, one doesn't really care very much, when in truth and in fact we do care. And maybe our educational system has to take much more of this kind of thing on board to get people to understand, particularly the present generation, of just where we are coming from and the nature of the struggle that our forebears, ancestors and immediate forebears have had to go through to get us to this point. They were long distance runners, not sprinters. They held they held the course. They stayed. Bustamante, who in fact tuned into something which was so fundamental to our history, the exploitation of labor, and he fought that. I am not sure that he was sort of intellectually conscious. That's neither here nor there, but his feelings and his response to the society was dead right, and it made a tremendous impact on development. Then, of course, there is Norman Manley, who cannot be underestimated at all. Some of his supporters would say that he was, in terms of the ideas he generated and diffused among his people, was the founder of modern Jamaica. He had a vision, well articulated, and he's yet to be proven wrong on many of these things. He gave us some of the fundamental institutions of growth and development, which are important. And he really stood on the right side of history and bequeathed us something that I'm afraid too many of us have taken for granted.
There is Sam Daddy Sharp. He, of course, was very special in the whole pantheon of heroes. He organized the rebellion, arguably since Taki, the biggest of its kind in western Jamaica, and in fact was a real threat to the planters. They had to take that one seriously. He was able to mobilize tens of thousands of slaves. He was a deacon in the Birchall Baptist Church, and thereby hangs a tale. With our people being so religious, this man is a particular icon because he got from the Bible a very important lesson, that the whites had no more authority to enslave the blacks than the blacks had to enslave the whites. And I think this is very important, that we are all less than the angels, that a common creator couldn't possibly allow one set of people being the property of another. And so Daddy Sharp more than qualifies as a hero among the national heroes.
Again, Marcus Garvey, who is arguably the most popular among the ordinary people of our national heroes. He was the first, and quite rightly so. He didn't run anything, but even he had very strong ideas about the institutions of growth and of development. Let's not underestimate his Black Star Line, and which he saw as an anchor for serious trade with Africa. And his whole thing of the dignity of the black man. Again, the recognition of a Bogle and George William Gordon. These were people who put their lives, as it turned out, on the line in the name of justice.
Nanny left out.
Oh, of course not. Well, she, in fact, symbolizes a whole movement of the fight of the Maroons, the withdrawal of self from what I've often told my students, the locus of oppression. And to her credit, her brother, who really won the war against the British, but he became an enforcer in terms of sending people back if they fled the plantation. She was thoroughly against that. No treatment, what have you. And this has to, she was a legend even in her own time. And then, of course, there is the thing of let's not close our eyes to the fact that she's a woman. So it satisfied the gender thing, that our women have been so important to the development. You and I are our mother's sons, whatever else we want to be. And I mean, they have been so important and central to the development, the continuing development of Jamaica during slavery and beyond.
More important, how can we make our culture, Professor Nettleford, connect with the day-to-day reality of people, the reality of the young from all classes?
Well, let me start with what I think might please you. In my generation, Emancipation Day started with a service in the church.
Yes.
Give thanks, turn thanks. Very, very important, because it really reminds you that you are less than the angels and that you owe something to something which is greater than you. Call it God, Jah, whatever, but something greater than you. And this, of course, is very humbling. And so, despite the fact that then we went out to what we call carnival, and there was all sorts of things which were very important, to the young, which was recreational.
Yes.
Now, at Independence time, and here Mr. Seaga should take some credit for this, the idea of a Heroes Week, while around Independence time you showcase your thing and have fun, the whole idea of the Heroes Week in his mind was to have us reflect on our history. And I think this was a real, applauded it, and we certainly in the early days did. It took some time to take off, but this is precisely the kind of thing that we should do, because, we are not just minstrels. We have minds, and we must apply those minds, the intellect, to our historical condition and so on.